There's a picture of a tree. Or, if that's not a picture of a tree, that is a tree. Well, I guess for you it's a picture of a tree. It's interesting to think of if this is art because we have a medium of distance. Anyway, all right, we've been talking about we've been talking about what Heidegger's doing. He's moving from art to artwork to thing to artwork. Why? Can't get at a thing without some medium. The medium proves to be the work of art. Okay, so right there, an artwork, in trying to figure out what a thing is, he goes to an artwork. And the artwork actually discloses the thing, he thinks, beyond utility. This is the key idea. It shows things beyond equipment, okay? And how does it show those things? It shows them as in a conflictual union between earth and world. Okay, so a couple things here. Art not only reveals things beyond utility, in revealing things beyond utility, that is, it discloses a world. This is the first really idea of what Heidegger's talking about that artworks do. They disclose a world. Matter of fact, you can think of it this way, and we'll get to this later because he'll talk about this in the second part. Good artworks, if it's a good work of art, it discloses a world. If it's a great work of art or a big work of art versus a small work of art, it worlds a world or creates a world. So artworks both disclose world, but they also found worlds. Okay, think of like the work of art like the biblical text, like the New Testament. That work of art, that's a work of art in the large sense of what Heidegger means. It's this eruption of meaning. Great works of art create meaning. Small works of art, good works of art, disclose meaning or illuminate meaning. Okay, they illuminate things in their sense of meaning. They illuminate things in their world. That's precisely what these Van Gogh shoes do for Heidegger. But, that's only the first part. Artworks disclose things, but in the disclosure of things, notice what Heidegger did. He purposefully misposed the question, too, in a sense. He was asking about the thing, so he went to the artwork to disclose the thing. There we get the answer of what an artwork is. An artwork is that which discloses, right? So we get this first inkling of what beauty is or what the artwork is. The artwork is that which reveals something. But remember now, the artwork is the happening, we can say, what's being for Heidegger? Being is the process of truthing, qua aletheia, qua revealing and concealing. But in an artwork, truth or being is revealed as that which is revelatory. Okay? So in a certain sense, that is, i.e., it doesn't conceal concealment. Another way of thinking about this, the artworks illuminate illumination. Okay? They reveal the process of revealing and concealing, and they don't conceal concealment as thought does. Okay? That's the difference between artworks and thought in a certain sense, or artworks and scientific or philosophical thought. Now, this might be a mere truism if you think about it, because obviously artworks are a kind of interpretation. We even have this sense, but we go too far with it in a Nietzschean sense. We recognize that artworks are an interpretation of things, right? But Heidegger thinks just because they're an interpretation of things doesn't mean they don't get at some truth. As a matter of fact, the interpretation that art gives adds to the quality of truth that we can't get from thinking and we can't get from perceiving, because both of those things seem to conceal things without being aware that they conceal things. Okay? So artworks reveal things and reveal themselves in a certain sense as revelatory. So Heidegger's doing a bunch of things here. There's layers upon layers. Where do you jump in this, right? Artworks reveal the nature of things or world a world or disclose a world. They also disclose themselves as disclosing, right? And back to that other point, artworks are these things that disclose the idea that being is interpretable. Remember, the problem with thought is you don't really realize when you're thinking it's an interpretation, right? Science doesn't think of itself as an interpretation, although that's the way we've been moving in this class, and that's where Heidegger's going as well, that science is an interpretation. Doesn't mean it's a relative or subjective interpretation. It's a valid, objective reading or of being, if you think of being as a text, but it's only one way of interpreting the world, namely one way of interpreting the world so as to control it, whereas artworks disclose other valid, objective, meaningful, and truthful aspects about the world. Okay? So that's the first part. Artworks not only disclose a world and things in a world and things in their context of world and earth and the relationship between them, like we see in the peasant shoes that he's talking about, but they also disclose disclosure itself, or illuminate illumination, or we can say illuminate being as the process of illumination. Okay? Let me see if there's anything else here. I made another note here. Yeah, that's good for now. I'll talk in the next video about Earth and World.